Hello friends, in this video we will solve gate problems based on AC circuits. Let us begin. Question number 1 is now appeared on your screen. For the circuit given in the figure, you have to find voltage across capacitor C in volts across the capacitor. So let's see how to deal with this. 4 options are given. As you look into the circuit, it is actually a normal series circuit. So you know that in series circuit voltage divides. So by voltage division rule you can find voltage across any component. For example, if you want to find voltage across capacitor, you can actually apply voltage division rule. Before that, we have to make sure that every component in AC circuit has to be impedance element. For example, if you look at R, it is already in terms of ohms, but if you look at capacitor, it is in terms of microfarad. So impedance of the capacitor, that is reactance of the capacitor, needs to be calculated. So assuming the circuit is in this form, instead of 100K, I'll say R. Instead of capacitor, I'll say it is minus j xc, that is in reactance form. And again, we have another resistor, but if you look at the values, both the values are same. I mean, if it is 100K and this second is also 100K, so I'll name this as R only. And let's say the supply voltage is plus minus V. Of course, it is AC supply. We have to find voltage across capacitor C, which is Vc. By voltage division rule, I can say Vc is equal to supply voltage V into minus jXc upon addition of all the impedances. In that case, R plus R will become twice of R minus jXc. Am I right? Or I can write it is equal to V into minus j. I can replace Xc as 1 upon omega c whole divided by, it is 2R minus j 1 upon omega c. If I cross multiply, actually omega c can be cancelled out. In that case, Vc will become supply voltage V into minus j 1 upon omega c whole divided by 2R into omega c minus j whole divided by omega c. So here, as you can see, omega c got cancelled. What is remaining? Vc equal to V into minus j upon 2R omega c minus j. Now let's substitute all the values where R is 100 kilo ohms and the capacitor was, let us substitute these values in equation 1, then we get Vc equal to supply voltage V into minus j divided by twice of R is 100K, I can write 100 into 10 to the power 3 multiplied by omega, which is 5, multiplied by C, where C is 1 microfarad, so 1 into 10 to the power minus 6 minus j. If you calculate this value, this whole will become only 1. If you substitute this into calc, you will get this as 1. So I can write now Vc equal to V into minus j divided by 1 minus j. Now to solve this, we need to substitute the value of V. Let's see what was the value of V in the question. As you see, the supply voltage is 5 sin 5t. I can write 5 sin 5t as 5 at an angle of 0 degree multiplied by minus j can be replaced with 1 at an angle of minus 90 degree. Whereas 1 minus 1j can also be converted into polar form. Magnitude will become root 2 at an angle, it is minus 45 degree. So if you solve this, you'll get VC equal to phi by root 2 at an angle of minus 45 degree. How angle is minus 45 degree? We know that when the multiplication takes place in polar values, angle gets added, whereas when polar values are getting divided, their angle gets subtracted. For example, now to talk about this, 0 degree and 90 degree gets added. In fact, it is minus 90 degree, so addition becomes minus 90 simply. So the numerator angle is minus 90, denominator is minus 45. So minus 90 minus of minus 45 will become again minus 45 degree. So minus 45 degree is the final answer. This is VC that we have. In fact, since VC is phi by root 2 at an angle of minus 45 degree, I can again write this into sinusoidal form like this. VC equal to phi by root 2 sine of 5t minus 45 degree. So this is the final answer that we have for VC, but we need to compare this whether this is present in the options. Now if you compare the options, you will not find the exact answer, but let me tell you what we have is phi by root 2. Phi by root 2 is actually equivalent to 2.5 root 2. The magnitude that we have phi by root 2 is equivalent to 2.5 root 2. So if you see, option number A and option number B at least can be eliminated on the basis of final magnitude. So C or D has to be one of the answer. Now if you see, if you compare option number C and D, you will find only phase angle is different. Am I right? C says phase angle is minus 0.25 pi and option D says it is minus of 0.125 pi. So which angle is correct? Which phase angle is correct? Let's see. What we have is phase angle minus 45 degree. It means it is in terms of degree. And in the options, the angles are given in terms of radian. So we need to convert degree to radian just to see which answer is correct. So I'll just tell you how to convert it. I'm sure you must be knowing 180 degree is nothing but pi radian. Am I right? Then what I want is minus 45 degree. To make it simple, I'll take 45 degree only is equal to how much radian? Let us say x. Now just cross multiply and get the value of x. The next will be 45 into pi divided by 180. And if you do the calculation, you will find it is 0.25 pi. It means now I can replace VC as I said earlier, phi by root 2 is equivalent to 2.5 root 2. Then it is sine of 5t minus, because we had minus sign here, 45 degree now should be replaced with 0.25 pi radian. So this is our final answer now. Let us verify. So as you can see, option number C is matching. So option number D is also eliminated. Option number C is the correct option. I'm sure you understood this sum. Actually these sums are very easy. Only thing is you should be very much comfortable with DC circuits and the basic laws, that is KVL, KCL as well as voltage division rule and current division rule. I'm sure you must have understood question number 1. Let's start with next question now. Question number 2 is now appeared on the screen. It says the voltage V of t across terminals A and B as shown in the figure. A sinusoidal voltage having frequency equal to 100 radians per second. It means the input voltage that they have applied is having a sinusoidal frequency of 100 radians per second. After that they say when the inductor current I of t, it means they are talking about this current I of t, is in phase with voltage V of t, it means the supply voltage. So indirectly they are saying whenever the supply current comes in the phase with supply voltage, then magnitude of impedance, that is Z in ohms, seen between terminals A and B is, which is correct up to 2 decimal places. In that case, I'm sure you must have understood that when voltage and current comes in the same phase in case of AC circuits, that too in case of RLC circuit, Obviously, that concept is called as resonance. It means this is the problem which is related with resonance. So let's see. V of t and I of t are in same phase means the circuit is under resonance. And I'm sure you know, when the circuit is under resonance, if you have to see the total impedance that's seen between A and B, it is always a real part of the actual Z. It means imaginary part of the Z is always equal to 0. So let's see in this case what happens. So what needs to be done is, to calculate the impedance, reactance values of inductor and capacitor should be known to us. In this case, L should be replaced with j omega L, because you know the fact L is jXL. I mean, L should be replaced with plus jXL and C should be replaced with minus jXC. In this case, the value of L is not given, but what is given is omega. I can replace this with j omega L, or I can say it is j simply 100 L. So this becomes inductor value. Whereas in terms of capacitor, let's see what happens. Minus jXC can be replaced with minus j 1 upon omega C, or minus j 1 upon, what is omega? Omega is 100 into capacitor value is 10 microfarad, which is 10 into 10 to the power minus 6. So now if you calculate this, you should replace C with minus j100. So in a way, circuit is like this. Inductor value L is j100L, capacitor is minus j100, and parallel to which there is 100 ohms. Let us redraw the circuit now. So the circuit becomes like this. It is j100L. Then we have got a capacitor having minus j100 value, and parallel to which there was another resistance 100 ohms. This was point A and B, across which we have to calculate Z equivalent. Am I right? At resonance condition. Z equivalent is nothing but, as you can see, these two components are in parallel, right? So can I say minus j100 comes in parallel with 100 ohms, and which is in series with j100L. Then Z equivalent becomes j100L plus, I can solve this as minus j100 into 100 divided by 100 minus j100. You should always know the fact that when Z1 is parallel with Z2, effective is Z1 Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2. In this case, what I can do, from the numerator, I am talking about the second term, which is I have made a bracket of, I can take 100 common from the numerator and denominator, and all 100 gets cancelled. Like if I take 100 common from here, this 100 with this 100 gets cancelled. What is remaining? Let's write. It is j100L plus, in the numerator only minus j100 is left, and in the denominator it is 1 minus j. Now Z equivalent I can write as j100L plus, in the denominator what we had is 1 minus j. I can multiply numerator and denominator with 1 plus j. Now Z equivalent becomes j100L plus, in the numerator it is minus j100 plus 100 whole divided by, now if you actually solve this, you will get this as 2, because a plus b into a minus b is what? A square minus b square. But if it is a plus jb into a minus jb, it is always equal to a square plus b square. In this case, in the denominator I am saying a equal to 1 and b is what? 1, which is in fact 1j. Therefore it becomes 2 now, denominator. So I can write Z equivalent as j100L minus j50 plus 50 Now at resonance, imaginary part becomes 0. Imaginary part becomes 0 means you have to ignore these two terms because they become 0. So what is left? Z equivalent is always a real part. So at resonance, I can say Z equivalent is simply what? 50 ohms. So 50 ohms is the correct answer, which is impedance seen between two terminals A and B when the applied voltage and the supplied current comes in the same phase. That's what we actually called as resonance. When I explained resonance, I told you the problems are going to come are never going to give you a direct hint that the problem is related with resonance. They will give you some clues like voltage and current are in the same phase, or they might say the circuit is operated under unity power factor, right? So these are the hints which are actually given, which is when sum is related with resonance. Let's move to the next question now. Question number 3 is now appeared on the screen. It says the equivalent impedance Z equivalent for the infinite ladder circuit as shown in the figure is. It means this is a never ending circuit. Okay, let me just explain you. As you can see, here it is J9. After that, you got a branch of J5 minus J1 and so on. This is something which is only going to repeat. This is never ending circuit. This is never ending circuit. As you can see, it is repeated. And for this circuit, you have to find Z equivalent. I'm sure you must have seen the previous videos where such kind of sum I have taken in DC circuits. But again, let's see in terms of AC circuit how to handle this. Now what I do is, even though, let's say, if it is repeating forever, it means even though I omit this much part, even in the remaining circuit, it is going to give me the same ZAB, that is same Z equivalent between two terminals, let's say between A and B. I repeat my statement, since this is a ladder network and that too having infinite number of components, and in a similar way, it means even though I remove the first component, this first component from the circuit, it is not going to affect the overall Z equivalent. Am I right? In that case, what I am doing, let's see. I am just going to draw a remaining circuit now. So the part which I have ignored, I am drawing it first. What we have is J5 here, what we have is minus J1 here, and after that, as I said, this is a removed part. In the remaining part, if I make 2 points here, as you can see, 2 red dots here, in between this also I'll be getting same Z equivalent only. Why not to replace this whole part which is infinity part with only one impedance which is nothing but Z equivalent. So I can say this is Z equivalent only, and again between these two also there is Z equivalent at these 2 points, let's say point A and point B. So I'm sure you understood it. What I really did is, it is quite obvious not to work with infinite ladder network. Let's convert the infinite ladder network into overall impedance, let's say Z equivalent, and the remaining circuit I have drawn as it is. And now it becomes very easy to work with this model, right? I can reduce this to J9 and I can make only one component here. As you can see, J5 and minus J1 are connected in series. Effective, it becomes J4, to which again the infinity ladder network is replaced with Z equivalent here, and this is again Z equivalent. So what model we have? You can see point number AB, after point AB there is one impedance J9, then there is J4 at vertical branch, and to parallel to which there is Z equivalent. Am I right? Let me just redraw it here. These two are in parallel combination now. So overall Z equivalent can be written as J9 plus J4 in parallel with Z equivalent. So Z equivalent becomes J9 plus, I can expand this as J4ZE upon ZE plus J4. Furthermore, the right hand side can be cross multiplied with denominator, so it becomes ZE or Z equivalent rather, let's have a common notation only, plus J9 into J4 plus J4 Z equivalent whole divided by Z equivalent plus J4. What I can do is, I can transfer this denominator here. So now it becomes Z equivalent square plus J4 times Z equivalent. This is equal to, what we have in the right hand side is J9 Z equivalent plus J4 Z equivalent minus, as you can see, J9 into J4 will give you minus 36. Now, if you see left hand side and right hand side, J4 Z equivalent and J4 Z equivalent will get cancelled. Let me take remaining term of the right hand side to left hand side and let's make a common equation, that is a quadratic equation. So what quadratic equation now you are going to get is Z equivalent square minus J9 Z equivalent plus 36, and this is equal to 0. We need to solve this quadratic equation. It will give you two possible values, out of which we have to select only one correct answer. So if you compare this with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, by comparison you will get a equal to 1, then b equal to minus j9 and c equal to 36. So you know x1 x2 values is given as minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac whole divided by twice of a. In this case, if I replace minus b, then it will become positive j9 plus minus. So b square becomes minus 81 minus 4 times ac, where a is 1, c is 36, divided by twice of a becomes 2. Further, if you solve this, these are the values of z equivalent 1, 2. So now z equivalent 1, 2 is equal to j9 plus minus, if you solve this, you will get under root of 225. In fact, you will get minus 225 divided by 2. Then z equivalent 1, 2 is equal to j9 plus minus, if you take under root of 225, it is plus minus 15. But if you take under root of minus 225, it gives you plus minus 15j, because root of negative number introduces imaginary term. This becomes j15 divided by 2. Therefore, z equivalent 1, 2 is equal to, now if you add them, it becomes z equivalent 1, or if you subtract them, it becomes z equivalent 2. So z equivalent number 1 is simply j9 plus j15 divided by 2, which comes out to be 12j. Whereas z equivalent 2, it's simply j9 minus j15 divided by 2. So if you solve this, you'll get minus j3 ohms. Alright, let's see which answer is correct. As you can see, there is no minus j3 option here. What is the option? j12, which is option number A. So option number A is the correct option. But what if 12j as well as minus 3j ohms were there in the options? Then what you would have done? Then even in that case, you should actually go for the first value. Second value, it's still invalid. I'll tell you reason why. The second value is a negative impedance, and you know the fact, when it comes to negative impedance, it always shows a capacitor component. Whenever there is a positive impedance value, it means it shows it is inductive reactance. Please remember, inductive reactance is written as plus jxl, whereas capacitor reactance is written as minus jxc. Am I right? So negative impedance indicates it is a capacitor, and positive impedance indicates it is inductor. If you look into the circuit, you will see that the first branch is having j9, the second branch is having j4. It means, overall speaking, all the impedances were positive. If all the impedances were positive, it indicates that the circuit is inductive and not capacitive in nature. It means the Z equivalent that you should get, you bound to get only positive answer. Am I right? That is the inductive circuit. Since it is inductive circuit, Z equivalent cannot be minus 3J. So minus 3J is the wrong answer. 12J ohms is the correct answer. So in this case, as we have already marked, option number A is a correct option. Let's move to the next problem now. Question number 4 is now appeared on the screen. It says a coil having an impedance of 10 plus J100 ohms is connected in parallel with a variable capacitor as shown in the figure. Keeping excitation frequency unchanged, the value of capacitor is changed so that the parallel resonance occurs. In that case, the impedance across terminal P and Q in terms of ohms is. See, in this case, they have already given a direct clue that the sum is related with parallel resonance. So you know the fact that whether it is series resonance or parallel resonance, the Z equivalent, which is always shown between point P or Q or whatever, point A or point B, it is always real part and imaginary part always becomes 0. So let's solve this problem. Here the value of capacitor is not given. I am sure you must have understood the problem. The frequency, input frequency is not going to change, it is going to remain same. Only this capacitor, as you can see, it is varied in order to obtain the resonance. In that case, let's see what we can do is, between point P and between point Q, what we have, as you can see, we can have a series combination here which is 10 plus J100, which comes in parallel with, let's say, minus JXC. So what we can do is, we can have a parallel combination as a Z equivalent. So Z equivalent is simply 10 plus J100 is in parallel with minus JXC. When Z1 is parallel with Z2, it is always Z1 Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2 as a Z equivalent. So what I can do is, I can rewrite this as 10 plus J100 into minus JXC whole divided by 10 plus J100 minus JXC. So this is how we actually get Z equivalent. Now after solving this, what you need to do is, you have to separate real part and imaginary part. And after that, what you do, you make imaginary part equal to 0 and then you say the value of Z equivalent is a real part of Z equivalent. But then in this case, now it is going to become little difficult. The reason why I have solved like this, because you should realize it, every time you get parallel circuit, we have tendency to go for this formula, which is Z1 Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2. But I'll tell you the reality. The scenario is, when it comes to parallel circuit, you should always go for admittance calculation rather than going for impedance calculation, and then becomes very easy. How come? I'll show you. See, in general, the given circuit was RL circuit. In general, I can say this is R, this is JXL, parallel to which what we had is minus JXC. Am I right? The same circuit we have, let's say point P and Q, and this is Z equivalent. Instead of calculating Z equivalent, we should actually go for Y equivalent calculation, which is 1 upon, I can say Z1, which is R plus JXL, plus 1 upon Z2, where Z2 is minus JX. Remember, this is nothing but your Z1 and this is nothing but your Z2. What you have done is 1 upon Z1 plus 1 upon Z2 is Y equivalent. I can write minus JXC here. I can multiply and divide with R minus JXL to first part, which is R plus JXL into R minus JXC. In the numerator also, we can have R minus JXL plus, if I take minus J in the numerator, it will simply become J upon 1 upon XC. Is that right? Solving further, Y equivalent will become R minus JXL whole divided by, the denominator becomes R square plus XL square plus J times 1 upon XC. Is that right? At resonance, never forget Y equivalent is only real part. So in this equation, if you see and if you separate real part and imaginary part, real part is simply y equivalent is, so I am going to only write real part now, which is simply r upon r square plus xl square. See what I have done? Whatever was there along with j, I have ignored it. When it comes to resonance, whether it is z equivalent or y equivalent, it is always a real part. Imaginary part of z equivalent as well as imaginary part of y equivalent is always considered as 0. So ignoring all the terms which were imaginary in this equation, I have written only real part of it. But what I really want is only z equivalent, which is 1 upon y equivalent, which is equal to r square plus xl square upon r. Let us substitute the values of r and xl from the given circuit. As you can see, r value was 10 and xl value is 100. Now if you solve this, you will get 1010 ohms. So 1010 ohms is the final answer. I'm sure you have understood all the problems. The problems are easy, only the thing is you should know the real concept and then solution becomes very easy. Thank you.